Hello everybody, welcome to Osterossi Bucket. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already and drop a like on this video. I am trying to hit 100k subscribers on this channel by the end of the year, so your subscription would be much appreciated. Also drop a like, makes a big difference, appreciate it. And also drop a like because, as you may or may not be able to tell, I'm quite a bit off right now. I am sick for the first time in like 3 years, which is definitely ironic given what's been happening in the world the last 2 years, but I just have not been sick in almost my entire adulthood, and now I have an extremely sore throat and I want to die. So drop a like for me powering through this, or just because it's a nice thing to do. Anyways, today's video I'm talking about Celtics versus Cavaliers, the second half of Nuggets versus Mavericks, and the last 2 minutes of Knicks versus Pacers that I caught because the game was close. In fact, let me just go ahead and get that game out of the way because that is it's such a small thing. Really what happened when I got into this game is the Knicks just took care of business immediately. I think they were up by like 2 or so, something like that, and then Derrick Rose hit a floater. Something else happened, I think, to have the ball get scored. No. They got a really good defensive stop after Sabonis missed a layup, and the whole crowd like got on their feet, and then Julius Randle dribbled the ball up, and I think the ball swung around the perimeter a couple of times, and RJ Barrett hit the 3 to ice the game. At least that's if I'm remembering correctly. There was also this really cool hustle play by the Pacers that resulted in a really clean look for a Brogdon 3 that he just missed, and like really felt like the momentum would have swung in their favor if he had hit that shot, even though there was only going to be like 50 seconds left on the clock. But I feel like that would have given them a fighting chance, but then that miss kind of sealed it, and then the Barrett 3 definitely sealed it. But yeah, last 2 minutes of that game. Apparently, the Knicks kind of skidded a little bit in the third quarter. That's what I had heard. But then the Pacers, Jesus Christ, the Pacers only scored 10 points in the fourth quarter. That is rough. Let's talk about the second half of Nuggets versus Mavericks. There's going to be longer pauses in between talking here because I have to recover how much my throat hurts. But this game, like I said, I only watched the second half because it was relatively close. I think the Nuggets had a bit of a lead at the half, and then in this game the Mavericks started to get more hold of it in the second half, and it really felt like they had control of the game from there, especially in the fourth quarter, where it really felt like the Nuggets were like, oh Jesus Christ, please Jokic, do something, like we don't have anything else, you do something. And surprise, surprise, that did not exactly work. And it feels weird saying this when talking about the Dallas Mavericks, but this felt like a way more well-rounded team than the Denver Nuggets because Luka wasn't doing anything that particularly phenomenal. He had a really good back cut that ended up being goaltended by Aaron Gordon, had a good catch-and-shoot 3 off of a Reggie Bullock pass, which was mostly just a poor defensive rotation, but still. But that was really all he did in the fourth quarter, but Tim Hardaway Jr. was really aggressive, hit 2 3-pointers, had a drive off of the dribble to give them like an 8-point lead, had a dunk in transition off of a leak out. Jalen Brunson had a couple of pull-up mid-range shots, as he does, a drive or two. Just really, it seemed like this team had more weapons. And then Kristaps Porzingis, I'm not 100% sure, but I believe this would be his best game of the season. Look at his box score, 29 points, 11 for 20 from the field, 5 for 8 from outside. And then he was pretty active defensively as well. He had one really good recovery on a Monte Morris drive. So, yeah, that was a good game for the Mavericks on that end, especially from a well-rounded perspective. And then Jokic tried his best. He had a couple of really nice plays down the stretch there, a hook shot down the lane. They were also running a box and one against him, so that's worthy of note, but he was still scoring regardless. But the thing that always makes Jokic so much of a threat is the fact that he can make a great pass while also being very hard to stop one-on-one because he's one of the best post players in the league, if not the best post player. And then he's also like incredible for mid-range and then a respectable three-point shooter. He's just so much of a bucket that it makes it hard to guard him because you can't really double him because he's also going to make a pass to somebody who's wide open. But the players on the floor were just routinely guys not really capable of like being more of a threat than Jokic one-on-one. So like Austin Rivers hit a 3 at the top of the key. That's cool. I'm more concerned about a Jokic post-up than an Austin Rivers three-pointer. I think Aaron Gordon, corner 3. More concerned about Jokic post-up than that. And that really is what sold it for the Nuggets. Is they just were not bringing enough to the table without Jokic. Monte Morris did what he could do. Aaron Gordon played fine because Aaron Gordon fits really well with Jokic, but overall just not a lot on there. And also what was weird is we got some bowl minutes. I guess that's just from a shortage of players in the rotation, but like first quarter bowl minutes according to Twitter. I don't know. I don't know if did he play it all in the second half. I don't know if he did. I missed it. But yeah, that's that game. And now let's talk about Celtics versus Cavs. I've wanted to talk about the Cavs for a minute now. Well, I did talk about them with the Evan Mobley video, but I've primarily focused on Evan Mobley. And this one can't really primarily focus on Evan Mobley because he had the worst game of his career and then got injured. 0 for 11 from the field. One thing with Evan Mobley that I've noticed is sometimes he gets a little bit overzealous. I think there are a lot of foundations of skill with Evan Mobley's game already, combined with the fact that he is such a freak athlete and a freak like human body, that he's like 7 feet with these long ass arms and then still really athletic. But sometimes he just gets a little overzealous and tries to do a little bit more than he probably should, where it's like, I feel like that's something Evan's going to be able to do 3-4 years from now, but I don't know if he should be doing it right now. That said, he brings so much to the table defensively that like already like let him do it, and then also it's like a way for him to develop, so it's fine. But there were a lot of instances of that getting real ugly in this game, like a couple one or two fadeaways baseline. I think both of them airballed. I know he airballed a hook shot, just not great. A couple of missed jump shots. There was also one play that was rather embarrassing where he tried to post up on Al Horford, and Al Horford just didn't nudge, which Evan Mobley is a twig. Al Horford is like an immovable object. So it makes sense that that would happen, but it was very sad to watch because I don't know. I think Evan just kind of fell down or just lost control of the ball. I don't remember what it was, but I just know it was embarrassing. It was like that image of Cat trying to post up on Boogie. But outside of that, for the Cavaliers, Ricky Rubio and is it Cedi or Cedi Osman? I never actually bothered learning. But both of them played like the fucking Splash Brothers today, especially in that fourth quarter. They were hitting some ridiculous threes. Ricky Rubio in particular. Ricky, I believe, hit 3 or 4 three-pointers in that fourth quarter. One of them at the top of the key on Al Horford. He actually got Al on a switch quite often. A like jab step crossover step back kind of thing out of the corner. Another catch and shoot out of the corner. Just a lot of like, Ricky Rubio shouldn't be making that shot, but he is. It seems as though he's taken a rather significant leap as a three-point shooter, because if you look at his box score stats right now, he is shooting, if the NBA app will load, because it's a garbage fucking app, 39% from 3 on 5.5 attempts per game, which is the highest volume of his career by far. He's also shooting the second best he ever has from the line. So potentially shooting improvements from Rubio. And while I'm on the topic of Ricky Rubio, I do want to say, Sixth Man of the Year? What I mean, if the Cavaliers continue to be like a playoff caliber team, Sixth Man of the Year, is that out of the realm of possibility? I don't think it is. 15 points per game, 4 rebounds, 6.5 assists. As mentioned earlier, shooting extremely well from 3. Now his 2-point percentage is ugly right now, but I imagine that will improve drastically. And I imagine his 3-point rate will dip maybe a little bit. But granted, his 38% from the field is not that drastically different from his 40% career average. So maybe not that big of a deal. But I feel like Ricky would be someone who should win Sixth Man of the Year, but ultimately won't, just because I always give it to the shot chucker scoring guys, like the Jordan Clarksons, Jamal Crawfords, Lou Williams of the world, where it's like, this guy scores a high volume on passable efficiency, and then is also awful in the playoffs. Not necessarily Jordan Clarkson, but definitely Lou Williams and Jamal Crawford. But yeah, he should be someone who contends for that award, but he probably won't win it. Outside of that, Darius Garland, solid-ish game from him, not the greatest efficiency in the world. And then, as mentioned earlier, Osman, 6 for 12 from outside, a lot of big three-pointers from him. Good playmaking as well. Osman's like actually a pretty damn solid role player. Outside of that, this team was missing a lot of players. As I mentioned, Evan Mobley got hurt. He normally would have played like 35 minutes. We only played 28 in this one. He did have a lot of nice passes. One in particular that was a pass on a back cut to Osman, I think was the guy who cut. But yeah, Mobley has some passing chops for real. I'm not going to talk about him too much because I made a video dedicated to him already. And this is not the game to read into Evan Mobley's ability because, as mentioned, 0 for 11 from the field. But because their rotation is so short, because no Jared Allen, no Colin Sexton for a while, and then Denzel Valentine got 22 minutes, which is not good because Denzel Valentine is not great. All he did, he grabbed 9 rebounds in 22 minutes, so that's something. On the Celtics end of things, though, I guess I should focus on the team that won a little bit. The Celtics remain just weird. I don't know, do I title this video about Jayson Tatum? I have no idea what I'm going to title this video because I thought about I don't know, because Jayson Tatum, I want to make a video dedicated to him, so I'm like, I don't know, I want to burn the views on Jayson Tatum with this video, but fuck it. I'll make the title, What the Fuck is Wrong with Jayson Tatum, because he continues to just put up these stinkers. I mean, this season he is now shooting, what did the stats say, NBA app update, please? 38% from the field, 31% from 3, and not only that, he's shooting the worst from the free throw line for his career by a large margin. Like, just everything about him is off. So yeah, Jayson Tatum, some problems there. Of course, Jaylen Brown did not play, but I'd say relative to the Cavs, like Colin Sexton and Jared Allen not playing is more of a detriment than Jaylen Brown not playing for the Celtics, just from the construction of the team basis. Also, Robert Williams got hurt as well, so that's worthy of mention. Josh Richardson, I've decided, is one of those players that I don't like, even though I'm aware that he probably is not bad. But like, there are games where I'm like, fucking Josh Richardson. But this one he was good. Hit a really big three-pointer in the fourth quarter. Grant Williams hit some big three-pointers, and that was nice to see. Had a good pick and roll with Dennis Schroeder. Speaking of that, Dennis Schroeder with 2 big buckets in the fourth quarter. Al Horford really big in this game. And Al Horford, I feel a little bit vindicated with Al Horford because he's been really good for the Celtics. And I have been on this whole tirade for a long time now. Al Horford is still good. Not the best contract, but still good. And he has been fantastic for the Celtics. I feel like the Sixers days just completely warped everyone's perception of Al Horford, but Al Horford is still a good NBA player. So there's that. Dennis Schroeder, I noticed, because there was another game the other day, I don't remember who they were playing, where Dennis Schroeder was once again the guy who kind of closed in the fourth quarter. I believe that was the game where Dennis had like 36 or whatever it was. I'm trying to remember what game that was. Was it no, it wasn't the Cavs game because they lost that game. It was the Bucks game where they did not have where the Bucks did not have Giannis, and Dennis had 38, and then he scored a couple of times in that fourth quarter, rather big. So it's weird saying that like Dennis Schroeder is their fall guy in the fourth quarter, rather than Jayson Tatum, but like Jayson has played so poorly that I guess that's kind of what you got to go with. But yeah, the Celtics did take care of business versus this Cavs team, which is kind of, well, I don't want to say to be expected because the Cavs have a better record than the Celtics, but the Celtics should be better than the Cavaliers. Also, if I can just speak as for the Cavaliers in general, as to like if they're going to maintain being a playoff caliber team, I think so. I think they have enough pieces here to be one of the best defensive teams in the league, if not probably like top 3. And then their offense will be fine, especially when Colin Sexton comes back, although the timetable on that I'm not sure of. But I think they have enough pieces to be like the 20th best offense and then like the 5th best defense, which that's a playoff team in the Eastern Conference. I don't necessarily think this is a very good playoff team, but like 7th or 8th seed, I think that's well within the realm of possibility. I think teams like the Sixers and obviously the Bucks and then maybe the Hawks will jump them, which would get them down to the 8th seed. But other than that, I think they're probably better than everybody else below them. So yeah, good stuff going on for the Cavaliers. Evan Mobley seems like he's going to be a generational talent, and I'm here for it because he's really damn interesting and fun player to watch. But yeah, this video has gone on long enough. Part 2 of today's videos, I'm going to be talking about the Bulls Clippers game that's about to start, or Lakers game that's about to start, and then I'm also going to talk about the Warriors Hornets game that I went to yesterday in person, obviously. So yeah, that was it. Goodbye.